In 1970s Bombay, head constable Ibrahim built a reputation on absolute integrity, ensuring his khaki uniform never saw a single bribe. But inside his own home, his son, Dawood, was captivated by the men his father arrested, the local dons with imported cars, expensive watches, and the power to shut down entire markets with a flick of the wrist. On March 12, 1993, 12 coordinated bomb blasts ripped through Mumbai, turning landmarks like the Bombay Stock Exchange into smoking craters. Over 250 people were killed. The logistics behind the RDX shipments led directly back to that same constable's son. This transition from a law-abiding household to the architecture of a global terror syndicate requires a specific type of institutional decay. Dawood navigated the state by purchasing it. He converted the police and the courts into infrastructure for D Company, turning the very institutions meant to stop him into a protective shield for his operations. At 20 years old, Dawood managed smuggled gold and weapons for the dominant Pathan gang. When tasked with collecting a massive 2 lakh rupee ransom payment from a kidnapped customs officer, Dawood's greed took over. He skimmed a huge portion of the cash for himself and lied to his bosses about the total payout. The Pathan gang's intelligence network uncovered the theft. Dawood was dragged in front of dozens of gangsters, beaten severely, and exiled. The rivalry escalated into a drive-by shooting at a Dadar petrol pump that left Dawood's older brother, Shabir, dead in a pool of blood. Surviving an assassination attempt the exact same night, Dawood stood over his brother's body and vowed to exterminate the Pathan gang. He began recruiting unemployed youth off the streets, building a fiercely loyal and heavily armed organization that would become D Company. Personal vengeance provided the initial fuel. As he systematically eliminated his rivals, his approach matured into a corporate-style hostile takeover of the Mumbai underworld, run with cold, calculated efficiency. In September 1983, one of the Pathan gang leaders, Amirzada, stood trial. Because of the ongoing gang war, the Mumbai Session Court was heavily fortified, packed with armed police on high alert who knew the faces of every major hitman in the city. Dawood bypassed the known professionals. He hired David Pardesi, a teenager with no criminal record. Looking innocent and unassuming, Pardesi walked right past the police barricades, reached the witness box, and shot Amirzada dead in front of the judge. The hit paralyzed the city. Police and rival gangs realized simultaneously that Dawood's reach extended directly into the heart of the judicial system. Nowhere was safe. Dawood exposed a critical flaw. The physical security apparatus of the state is completely defenseless against audacity and psychological misdirection. Despite carrying multiple criminal charges and a prior robbery conviction, Dawood continued to walk the streets. During a 1984 hearing, a state prosecutor warned the judge that Dawood was actively committing new, severe crimes while out on bail, pleading for his immediate incarceration. The legal system was already compromised. Arrests were intercepted by corrupt lawyers and officials, creating an endless loop back to straight operations. Operating with immunity, his extortion revenue was funneled directly into legitimate sectors, financing major Mumbai real estate projects and backing Bollywood films. He learned exactly how to price out the police and the lawyers. The justice system's susceptibility to endless delays and bribery transformed Dawood from a street gangster into a protected corporate entity. By late 1985, a Supreme Court arrest warrant finally gained traction. Before the trap could close, Dawood slipped across the border, establishing a new permanent base in Dubai, far outside Indian legal jurisdiction. People assumed his absence would collapse the syndicate. Instead, he ran Mumbai like a remote subsidiary. He set up a network of proxies, using local enforcers like Rama Naik to execute hits and collect protection money while he remained safely overseas. Managing a violent empire by telephone eventually backfired. Dawood orchestrated a hit on one of his own allies, triggering a massive rebellion. Rama Naik retaliated, and after his death, his successor, Arun Gali, launched an all-out street war against D Company, turning Mumbai's neighborhoods into war zones. International borders paralyzed the Indian state's ability to intervene, yet those same borders provided Dawood a safe haven to fund, arm, and command a private militia from the comfort of luxury hotels. In 1992, the demolition of the Babri Masjid ignited a violent cultural and political rupture. Riots swept across the nation. The burning of Mumbai gave Dawood an ideological grievance. Watching his city tear itself apart, he saw an opportunity. Pakistan's intelligence agency, the ISI, took notice and approached him in Dubai. This map of the western Indian coastline highlights exactly what the ISI wanted: D Company's established sea smuggling routes. In exchange for this access, they offered him global protection and unchecked business operations. A criminal logistics network, built over decades to sneak gold and Rolexes past customs, was seamlessly weaponized by a foreign intelligence agency to import military-grade explosives. On March 12, 1993, Tiger Memon utilized Dawood's established routes to land heavy shipments of RDX. The 12 resulting bomb blasts killed over 250 people, marking the transition of a smuggling syndicate into a global terror operation. The attack fractured his syndicate along religious lines. Top lieutenants like Chota Rajan violently defected, declaring their own patriotic war against him. Yet, despite the internal bleeding, the bombings permanently solidified Dawood's status as a protected asset of the Pakistani state. Today, Dawood Ibrahim reportedly lives in Karachi's upscale Clifton neighborhood under heavy military protection. From there, he continues to direct a multi-billion-dollar illicit empire, spanning real estate, narcotics, and arms trafficking. When local corruption, legal loopholes, and police bribery are left unchecked, they provide the fertile ground for local gangs to evolve into untouchable, state-sponsored security threats.